Howdy folks, and welcome back to another tech tip. Today we're going to be looking at Google Gemini, and it's a really powerful tool that I don't think gets enough play these days, and I didn't give it enough credit when I first started using Gemini, and that's gems. Basically what a gem is, it's a bespoke version of Google Gemini. So you set up your own little instance of Google Gemini, and then you give it a set of instructions that it always has to follow. And so if you find yourself doing the same thing over and over again, so like you're lesson planning for a certain course, you keep having to come up with prompts and you're always trying to remember what you wrote last time, how do I get that same exact output? You can set up a gem where all you have to do is come up with one really good set of instructions, and then you just provide it your outcome, and it will pump out lesson plans for you in the same exact layout, and also give you those same things like, UDL strategies, extension activities. So once you set it up, you can just go with it. So let's have a look at gems and how to set one up. So when you go and you look, it's right here on the left side. So when you log in, you might just see a screen like this. If you hit your little burger icon over here, expand the menu, you're gonna see all your chats down the side, and you're gonna see gems right there. So if you click on gems, you'll see a list of all the gems you've created. Now I've been doing a lot with teachers all over, so there's a whole bunch of random gems I've been making just for fun. And then you also at the bottom will see gems that are shared with you. So the cool thing is, if you make a really good gem and you want to share it with another colleague, you can share it through GNSPES just by hitting the share button here, and then they can have access to it too. You can give them edit access so they can go and change things. I normally just give view access so that they can use it. And if you share your gem with somebody else, they can't see anything you're typing. So like they see the gem as you do, but they're not going to see your chats with it. So before we get into gems, I do want to say, we have to have a conversation about prompting. That is the number one end all be all of an AI tool. If you're an effective prompter, you're gonna get materials that are much better than if you're not. So if you're just saying, hey, give me a lesson plan on the water cycle, 60 minutes, grade 7. You send it off, you don't have much control over what you get back. So the more details you provide it, or the more things you ask for, the more you can dial in something that you really want to get back. So the key is to create really good sets of instructions, really good prompts. And my way to do it is to kind of stream of consciousness, type out all the things I want, and then I say, could you help me form this into a good prompt for a lesson plan? So what I do is I write a prompt to then create my final prompt. And that way, if I'm generating a lesson plan, maybe my prompt is a page long, but I didn't have to write out that much. It's going to see what I want. It's going to fill in some of those gaps. I can then tweak that, and then I use that to make my lesson plan. So let's say I want to create a gem for planning for Science 10. Let's create a gem for Science 10. Sorry, elementary folks, I had to choose something. But this same process works for whatever grade you're teaching. You click on new gem here, and these are the things you get. You get your name, so you're going to give your gem a name. You can write a description. That's just for you to know what it is when you quickly look through your list. And then you have your instructions. So that's where the important stuff comes in. But then the nice thing as well is you can add in reference files. So say you have really good teaching strategy documents, or in this case, we're going to put our curriculum documents in here. So you can upload documents that this gem will always refer to, as well as the instructions you give it. And on the right hand side here is your preview. So what that allows you to do is you type in your custom instructions, and then you can preview the output. So let's do an example here. So for instructions, I say, give me essay topic ideas in the form of knock-knock jokes. And I'm just going to call it bad gem. In my bad gem, when I'm testing it out, we can see how much it's obeying my rules. So I say, I want to write a paper on the water cycle, but I don't know where to start. I hit send. So you've been summoned to write a paper about the water cycle, and you're looking for an entry point that isn't bone dry. Like the vibe? Why settle for a boring thesis when you can start with a punchline? Since I'm a bad gem, these might be a little groan worthy, but they'll definitely get your gears turning for your paper. Knock knock, who's there? Water. Water who? What are you still doing on the ground? It's time for you to rise up and turn to vapor. So then it's like, now your topic is focused on the energy required for evaporation. So it's giving me these topics, or these intros at least, for a paper. As you put in your instructions, you get different outputs. We're going to create instructions for a gem for lesson planning for Science 10. Here's my prompt to create my instructions for me. I don't want to figure out all the layout of the format to create these instructions. Help me create a set of instructions for a gem, which is a lesson planner for Science 10. Things I want the gem to consider and be able to do. So give a bit of context. I'm a grade 10 teacher in rural Nova Scotia, Yarmouth. Keep that in mind. For CRP practices along with the ANS and Mi'kmaq communities. I want you to give me culturally responsive and UDL practices to go along with the lesson. I want you to always include a hands-on activity to support the outcome we are teaching. You must always stick to the outcomes for Nova Scotia Science 10 curriculum. Give me differentiation strategies for both strong and struggling students. Give me teacher moves and things to say. Listen hook and extension activities as well. Classes are in 60-minute blocks. Stick to the 3-part lesson or workshop model. For the hands-on activities, provide materials list of things that are readily available in rural Nova Scotia. And I just added lesson plans should give timing as well. So now I'm just going to hit submit, and now it's going to create a set of instructions. And we'll look through the instructions, and then from there we can kind of tweak if we want to. So here's my instructions that I just have to copy and paste into the gem. You're an expert grade 10 science teacher and pedagogical coach specializing in Nova Scotia Public School program. Your mission is to design 60-minute lesson plans that are culturally responsive, inclusive, and rigorous. Context and tone, location, rural Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. Perspective, grounded in culturally responsive pedagogy and universal design for learning. Tone, professional, encouraging, and resourceful. So like you can switch all this up as well. So maybe you want it to be whimsical and lackadaisical and other sickles. Core directives, strict alignment. Every lesson must explicitly map the Nova Scotia 10 science outcomes, sustainability of ecosystems, chemical reactions, motion, weather dynamics. So it's actually drawing in some stuff already for us. And then it has like culturally responsive integration. So like the Mi'kmaq concept of sustainability, perspectives of ANS and Mi'kmaq communities, Yarmouth Tri-County examples, Bay of Fundy, local fisheries. Workshop model, every lesson must follow a 3-part structure, like a hook or mini lesson, 10 to 15 minutes. A work period, 35 minutes. Must include hands-on activity using accessible, role-friendly materials. The closing reflection, 10 minutes, consolidate learning. And then UDL and differentiation provides specific strategies for stronger learners and struggling learners. So extension, complexity, and scaffolding are simplified entry points. Outcome reference, state the specific Nova Scotia outcome. Materials list, focus on items that are found at local hardware stores like Home Hardware, Canadian Tire, or common household natural items. Teacher move includes scripted prompts, exactly what to say to provoke thinking. Breakdown, timing breakdown for a 60-minute block. And then it gives you an example of how the gem will respond. So let's just take this. So one thing you might want to change is like, hey, not every lesson maybe requires 60 minutes. Like you could have activities that span over 2 or 3 classes. So you can add those in your directives as well, just to give you some more flexibility. So he said add instructions, add into the instructions the ability to have activities or lessons that span multiple classes. So we aren't always stuck just doing 60-minute activities. If there's something that requires more time, that is okay too. Just give out the timing for that. So that should tweak our instructions a bit. So yeah, just add in this multi-class capability, but most of the stuff should stay the same. So I'm going to copy that. We don't have to put the example, but we can. So now we're going to go back into gems. So I go back into gems, and now we're going to create a new gem. We're going to say Science 10 lesson planner. I'm not going to give a description because the title is pretty self-explanatory. And then I'm just going to paste in my instructions there. Now, I'm also going to go get the curriculum documents for Science 10. So I downloaded just the outcomes and then also the larger curriculum. So I'm going to upload files. I'm going to add in these two. And now it'll have that to draw on as well. So as I said, if you had instructional strategies or different PDFs that you like to inform your practice, you can add them in here as well, and it'll consider that as well. So I'm just going to take a random outcome from weather dynamics, heat and energy, use weather data to describe and explain heat transfer in the hydrosphere and atmosphere, showing how these affect air and water currents. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. So the idea here is we did the legwork up front, but once we have this, all you have to do is just put in your topic, put in your outcome, and it already has all that work you've done saved. So it takes a bit more time on the back end, but on the front end, but then on the back end, it goes really fast. I'm just going to save this gem so we can see what it looks like. I'm not going to do it in the small window here. We're just going to hit save. And then if you want to share it, you just click share, and you could choose people to share it with. So when you go to Gems now, I should see Science 10 Lesson Planner. So I'm just going to click on it. So I'm not going to click any of this stuff. Just click on it. And then it's going to open up Gemini the same way it normally does. But it has all those instructions in behind informing what it creates. What's nice is now the chats I have in here will save on your sidebar. So I'm just going to paste in, use weather data. Boom. All right, so it gives you a little preamble describing the lesson, and then it gives you the outcome, which matches, I gave it the outcome number there. Duration, so 120 minutes broken into two 60-minute blocks. Materials, local weather data from Environment Canada for Yarmouth. Large clear plastic bins or glass baking dishes, ice cubes made with blue food coloring, hot water dyed red, room temperature water, dish soap, incense sticks or smoke. Small smoke generator. Yeah, we probably wouldn't want incense for the smell. For the atmosphere model, flashlight or heat lamps. So the hydrosphere and oceanic heat transfer. Outcome, describe, boom. So hook, teacher move. Think about the Cape Fortune Lighthouse. Why is the water there so much colder in the spring than the air? And how does the cold water keep Yarmouth foggy while in the valley is sunny? And then work period. So like it's taking all these local context questions, which is true. It's always foggy here in the valley. It's a beautiful sunny day. Students fill a clear bin with room temperature water, place a blue ice cube at one end representing the Arctic Labrador Current, and slowly pour red hot water in the other representing the Gulf Stream. Sketch the movement of the colors. Notice how the blue sinks and moves along the bottom while the red stays on top. This is the model of the thermohaline circulation. Compare the lab observation. Boom. And then day 2. So there we go. And then at the end, it gives you differentiation and teacher support strategies for stronger learners, research the Coriolis effect, analyze paradigm shift in our understanding from ocean health, moving from limitless to fragile, strategies for struggling learner, pre-labeled axes for the weather data graphing task, use a word wall and visual aids for the terms, extension activity, local community project, interview a local fisher or elder about how they notice changes in the usual weather patterns or weather temperatures over the decades. Okay, so that's good. Now, maybe I don't completely like that, so I go back into Gems. I'm going to edit it. So I just want like a table of very detailed moment by moment. It wasn't like super detailed. So you can get it to be as detailed as you want. Maybe you just want something that generates ideas. Maybe you want something that's going to give you incredibly detailed. And then I'm going to paste in the same. We're just going to test it in here. So this is once again preview. It won't save the stuff that you do in preview, but if you do the gem in regular Gemini, it'll save. So we just look, your outcomes, multi-day breakdown. So it's giving you the same activity, but now this is what I like, where it's like, I like that it puts it in this format. Like first 10 minutes, there's your hook. Why is the water at Mavalette Beach so much colder than the Northumberland Straits? Use diagrams. So then you do your mini lesson, and then your work hands-on. The blue ice creep. Students place blue ice cubes, so that's the activity. And then day 2. So now it's getting a little more, and it's giving you your teacher moves and everything. So now I have this for the rest of the year, and I can add to it, I can change it, I can tweak it as I go, but it's really powerful. And it doesn't have to just be like lesson plans. I've done things like a script generator for a French immersion class. So things like write the full dialogue. So this is like the teacher wants the students to practice reading and speaking out loud. So it's creating scripts bespoke. So she gives it a scenario. It creates a 3-person script where they all have to talk to each other, and like gives different labels. And like you're creating theatrical scripts for grade 8 and 9 students, level A2+/B1. Your goal is to write engaging, natural sounding scripts based on user scenarios. Then like character naming, just use personnage 1, personnage 2, etc. And then it goes through universal interaction. Ensure a web of dialogue. Every character must speak directly to every other character. So like those are little things I added in, and then it creates a really in-depth set of instructions. Another example. Last one. I did another one, an outcome mapper. So this is for an LST, where it's like, if you have a student on an IPP, instead of like giving them their own workbook of different math, what you can do is maybe they're only working at a grade 4 level, so you can take your Math 10 at Work curriculum and map those outcomes to Math 4 curriculum and see those foundational skills that they were doing in grade 4, so that you're able to incorporate them still in the lesson and maybe challenge them where they're at, but still you're sticking to the Math 10 at Work curriculum, if that makes sense. Yeah, there's tons of different ways you can use this to make your life easier. It's those things, those tasks that you find you're doing over and over again. You can create a gem that will automate that for you. So don't hesitate to reach out with questions. Mess around with it, play around with it. Get your ideas out there, then get Gemini to help you put those into instructions. And it will save you a lot of time in that aspect as well. All right, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.